94-year-old evicted with his family.
Whereas now he is dumped outside.
More concerns over Sepik SABL.
Are also restrained.
Kwa says police need review.
It's their responsibility.
This is National EMTV News with Mary Bartolo.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for Saturday's news. We begin this bulletin with a disturbing story of what appears to be another illegal eviction in Port Moresby. A 94-year-old and his family have been evicted from their home of 60 years. The former public servant, Oisa Evoa, and his children have spent 4 nights sleeping in the open. This is the second time the Evoa family has been evicted. There was another attempt in 2013, and Evoa's wife died soon after that eviction.
Tonight will be the 5th night the Evoa family will be spending outside the fence of their house. This was their home since the 1960s. 94-year-old Oisa Evoa worked as a plumber and laid pipes for the sewage system in downtown during the pre-colonial era.
My father came to Port Moresby in his 20s. And my heart cries for my father because he was taught by 2 white men.
This morning, when EMTV arrived at the scene, the former public servant sat quietly under a makeshift and did not say a word. Teresa Evoa, the third-born daughter, explained that the title of the house they were evicted from is under a father's name, but the piece of land the house sits on is under a different name. When the family was evicted on Tuesday, neither an eviction notice or an eviction order was produced.
When the family wanted to see the notice, eviction notice, it was closed from them. No one came to read the document. So that is how the family were evicted, taken out from our very home. And so we slept in here.
The matter was brought to the Hola police, but when the family saw that the outcome was not in their favor, they brought it up to the NCD Metropolitan Superintendent's office. In the past 2 months, a number of evictions were carried out in Port Moresby. Some were deemed illegal, while others were still battled in court.
My father did the pipeline, the groundwork from Port Moresby, the wharf, right down, the sewerage. My father was the one who did it, and nobody, not even the government, knows about him. Whereas now he is dumped outside. The war cemetery, who did it? That old man there. He was the very one who outlined the cemetery.
Just 2 streets away, another 2 families were evicted. Meanwhile, the authorities concerned, the National Housing Corporation and the Lands Department, still have to make a response to the numerous evictions that have taken place.
And I am telling the government to do something about this now, because he's never been recognized. Now that I'm bringing this out into the light, I hope that the government to see something about him, do something about him.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
A lawyer representing landowners from Turubu and Sausia in East Sepik Province is appealing for calm until a final court decision is handed down on their case against an oil palm company. Herbert Wali from H. Best Wali Lawyers said a death has occurred in Turubu over disputes between opposing landowners over this oil palm development in their area.
Herbert Wali came to the EMTV studios to relay the message of calm and patience to the landowners following court orders by Justice Higgins.
All the landowners or members of the village are restrained from causing any damages to the properties of the Sepik oil palm plantation and the agent logging company and the employees. They are not to cause any harm or injuries to the employees as well. Number 2, the company, Sepik Oil Palm Plantation Limited and Summit Agriculture Limited, the logging agent company, their directors, their servants and the agents are also restrained from doing any logging activities.
In 2011, Turubu and Sausia landowners filed a judicial review of the special agriculture business lease that was given to Sepik oil palm plantation. 3 years later, the National Court ruled in favor of the landowners.
That order also declared the SABL granted to the Sepik oil palm plantation as null and void and has no legal effect. And court number 3 ordered that all deals in relation to SABL 144C, including logging activities and oil palm planting, are illegal, and they awarded cost and damages in favor of the landowners.
The leaseholder then appealed the decision, and a 3-man Supreme Court bench heard the trial in June this year. They dismissed the appeal in August and reinstated the National Court orders. Wali said there is another appeal by the company on this decision, which will be heard on Wednesday next week. In the meantime, he called for calm from both factions.
Sepik Plain has been a very, very peaceful place for a long, long time, until this incident of this kind has happened. And it has tarnished the name of the community, and the community do not want to see that anymore.
In March this year, the Sepik oil palm plantation hosted a groundbreaking ceremony of an oil palm mill. It was witnessed by leaders of the province. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary will be celebrating 128 years of its operations in Port Moresby tonight. The anniversary coincides with the fundraising dinner for the RPNGC team that will be undergoing training in Australia. Guest of honour and Commandant of the Police Force, Governor-General Grand Chief Sir Michael Ogio, will be present amongst other invited guests. You're watching National EMTV News. More local stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Former Attorney General and PNG Party leader Kerenga Kwa says the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary needs to review its operations with a view to improve its capacity. Kwa was speaking in light of recent armed robberies in Lae City that targeted businesses. He was in Lae for a meeting with heads of businesses and other stakeholders.
The former Attorney General was in Lae for a meeting with stakeholders and senior members of the business community. With elections only months away, various parties have been mobilizing support for their political aspirations. One of the concerns that has stood out has been the crime and how police have been burdened with resource shortages and capacity problems. Kua is of the opinion that there should be a review of the entire system.
Failure in the law enforcement system. The policing has fallen away, the policing part. If the police are effective, it's their responsibility.
Even with internal restructuring, the RPNGC continues to face serious housing and funding problems. In many instances, law enforcement is affected because the police command has difficulty deploying its men and women.
The evidence we see is otherwise. So the entire policing system needed to be reviewed. That includes its funding.
While law and order will feature prominently in the election campaigns, there are still unresolved issues. The recommendations of the Singarok Gun Control Report remains unimplemented, and without the political will, many of the reforms suggested by the Police Review Report will never be implemented. Scott Waide, National EMTV News.
And the former Attorney General says with elections coming up, the candidates must exercise greater responsibility. He said candidates must be involved in voter education and exercise restraint when it comes to the post-election period. Over the years, elections have been plagued with instances of violence and legal cases.
Again, if we run the elections properly and the candidates exercise a lot of sense of responsibility, that sort of cost transfer to the Electoral Commission can be avoided. It can be avoided. And, you know, maybe at the end of 2017, we have less bills to pay. So we all have a role to play in making sure that we stay within the budget and don't expect too much money from the government to fund this election.
Turning overseas now, and the battle for the Syrian city of Aleppo, as bad as it has been, is very likely to get even worse and more bloody. The US estimates as many as 10,000 Syrian-led ground troops are gathering in advance for what may be a final assault of government forces against rebels holding part of the city. Those in Aleppo are already coping with devastation for months of heavy bombardment on Friday alone. Reports say at least 12 people died after warplanes targeted residential neighborhoods, and in the past few days of bombing, some 100 children have died. The World Health Organization says some 270,000 civilians remain stuck in the city with dwindling supplies. To the US elections and on the campaign trail, Donald Trump says he does not regret Twitter tirades against former Miss Universe. The US Republican candidate marked Alicia Machado with a striking of skating pre-dawn tweets. Democratic rival Hillary Clinton called the Twitter rant unhinged.
Why did you go in the late-night tweet storm last night?
When it comes to his battle with former Miss Universe Alicia Machado, Donald Trump is no Mr. Congeniality. In response to Machado's claim, Trump called her Miss Piggy for gaining weight. The GOP nominee lashed out at the pageant winner in a series of bombastic tweets in the middle of the night. Did Crooked Hillary help disgusting check-out sex tape and past Alicia M. become a U.S. citizen so she could use her in the debate? And this, using Alicia M. in the debate as a paragon of virtue just shows that Crooked Hillary suffers from bad judgment. Hillary was set up by a con. Trump campaign, which offers no proof Machado ever even appeared in a sex tape, says it's just firing back.
I don't know Miss Machado, but I've seen many of the interviews with her. She's not a very credible witness, you might say.
Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta jumped into the fray, poking at Trump on Twitter. I'm almost Trump's age, so get the urge to get up in the middle of the night. But important safety tip, don't reach for your phone. Machado insists her past is not relevant, admitting to CNN,
everybody have a past, and I'm not a saint girl, but that is not a point now.
In a statement, she says Trump's latest attacks are cheap lies with bad intentions, adding Trump insists on demoralizing women, minorities, and people of certain religions through his hateful campaign. This is one of his most frightful characteristics. Trump is also ripping into the Clintons with not-so-subtle references to their past marital problems.
The Clintons are the sordid past. We will be the very bright and clean future.
Raising questions of hypocrisy for Trump, who's on his third marriage.
Here with National EMTV News, finals in basketball and volleyball. That's among stories in Trukai Sports when we come back.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. To volleyball, and after putting their competition on hold to accommodate the national championship, NCD Volleyball Association went into their semi-final rounds today at the Taurama Aquatic Centre. In the men's division, PTPSL Telecom has secured the first grand final spot, and in the women's, Vailima is set for a grand final appearance as well.
In the men's A-grade minors semi-final, PTPSL Telecom went up against Yumiet. The Telecom side played at a much faster pace in the first set, and 6 minutes into the match saw them add 15 points to Yumiet's 8. In an attempt to close the margin, Yumiet spiker Aaron Alsop was brought on in the dying minutes of the first set. Despite landing Yumiet a few points, the set ended with 25 points to 20 in favor of Telecom. The second set saw the Yumiet side regrouped and responsive to Telecom's attack. Every score from Telecom was counted with one from Yumiet. Also presence for the whole set proved fruitful as the game ended with 22 points to 25 in favor of Yumiet. The third match gained momentum. The Telecom side were not convinced when Yumiet pulled off some spike dummies. As tension grew on court, so did the foul plays. Aaron Alsop was given yellow card as first warning. The match was leveled at 24 set when a powerful spike from Yumiet landed on the Telecom side brought the win home for Yumiet. Yumiet now awaits their grand final play. And in the women's A grade, Vailima defeated Jamas 2-1 and they will face Telecom in the grand final. Dini Rose Reko, National EMTV Sports.
To basketball, and in the Under-18 National Championships, 2 teams from the nation's capital, NCD Amateur Basketball and Port Moresby Basketball League, have both qualified for the grand final later tonight. Port Moresby forfeited Kupiano after the team failed to show up, while it was a thrilling encounter between NCD and Daru Baramandis. Jeremy Moggy was courtside.
Fantastic atmosphere at the Tarama Aquatic Center of day number 4 of the Basketball PNG's Under-18 National Championships. Earlier in the second of the women's semi-finals, it was NCD ABA who had defeated Kerema by 71 points to 47. In the first of the men's semi-final, Port Moresby Men's Basketball League qualified directly after the absence of Kupiano in that match. And behind me, it is the Daru Baramandis taking on NCD ABA. The current scores 19 in favor of the home side to 14 for the visitors. 47 all by the end of the second quarter. However, the flamboyant team in purple unable to contain the talented NCD ABA side, and an absolute runaway in the final quarter, 95-68. The victory going to the team in red. And tonight's grand final will see NCD ABA take on PMBL in the Under-18 National Championships. Jeremy Moggy, National MTV Sports.
It's only been 5 weeks since the end of the 2016 Olympics, but PNG Superfish Ryan Pinney took time to speak to MTV about his Olympic performance and keeping up to date his fans around the country. Despite approaching the Rio Olympics as his last before retiring, it is still unclear when Pinney will fully retire from swimming. Godwin Eki with this report.
Pinney, who made the country proud in the 2015 Pacific Games, described his Olympic performance as not satisfactory due to several reasons and things he wasn't happy with, but he had good feedback to even out his Olympic performance.
The Olympic experience was, once again, it was just such a highlight. It's a massive, big competition that takes you by surprise every time you go to one of these. And unfortunately, I wasn't happy with my results. Just wasn't quite there. I feel like I wasn't quite mentally prepared for it. One thing I'm very proud of is that I did make a huge sacrifice to get down and do a lot of training.
Despite rumours during the Pacific Games that Rio was going to be his last, Ryan is still keen to continue competing for his country.
Yeah, I think the options are open because I find that I really enjoy racing, and if I can step up and win a medal and make PNG proud, then I will take the sacrifice to do that.
When asked about his participation in the 2018 Oceania Championships and Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, he gave an uneven answer.
At the moment, we've got World Short Course at the end of the year, which will be a pretty good fun meet for those that are going. Next year, I don't really know what's going to happen. At the moment, I'm ranked around 3rd fastest in the 50 butterfly. So, I think for me, going forward, I would concentrate on that. But I wouldn't say a positive yes that I'm going to Commonwealth Games or Oceania Championships here.
It is uncertain when Ryan will announce his retirement, but the Superfish is still strong enough to captain for the school of up-and-coming swimmers, as well as motivating and mentoring all swimmers for their upcoming international meets. Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
And that ends Shukai Sports. Don't go anywhere. We will have for you the weather details for the next 24 hours when we return.
Shukai Sports. Shukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Here's a look at the weather forecast over the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby, thundery showers, a shower or two in Daru. Thundery showers expected in Kerema, Alotau and Popondetta. To the Momase region, a shower or two in Ley, showers in Wau. Thundery showers in Madang, some showers in Wewak and Vanimo. To the New Guinea Islands region, some passing showers in Lorengau, showers in Kavieng, a shower or two in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, fine weather in Buka. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg, all these centres can expect some rain with morning fog.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that's the way it is this Saturday, the 1st of October 2016. From the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.